everybody, this is Ginger and this is Ginger's chat show. Hope all is well. Um for some reason I don't know what Meta is doing, but I turn on for viewers so they can interact with me and everything else. For some reason the comments thing is not working. So put your comments on my timeline. Then I'll read through them. Or watch the video on YouTube and I'll read the comments there. Okay? I wish I could go live on YouTube and I can interact better. I don't like this setup very well, but I'm trying to work through it. Now, my other thing, I'm trying to, if I could use Restream and do it on Snapchat, that'd be great, but I don't have. I need to set up another screen. So that would mean having to set up my laptop. But I'm waiting until uh, um, my new computer comes before I do all that rearranging and everything. My desktop now is starting to get slower and slower and slower. And so, I've done as much as I can with it. So, just be patient, and I hope next couple weeks, get my new laptop and then start doing serious setup. Okay. Anyway, sorry, it's been dusty in here. Anyway, you noticed I did my rearrangement. I'm gonna be doing some more sorting, get rid of stuff. This is empty right now. I'm thinking about taking out the old dresser in my bedroom and moving all my clothes in there. Um, that dresser is starting to fall apart. So, you know how it is when you use a piece of furniture for 30 years, 40 years, it starts giving out. Of course, they make better materials now. So, I gotta blow my nose here. Hold on a minute. Anyway, view post. Let's see if it did that work. Let's see if that works. Okay, I switched to a new. Okay, I'm getting a delay here. I switched to a new. Okay, I'm getting a delay here. Okay, I may have to close that one out. For some reason there's a lag. It's electronic fun. A lag on this. Anyway, to get more serious matters, of course, you know that Don Lemon's been arrested for his journalism and everything else. All the crazy stuff that toddler Donnie is doing. Um, I hope the judge will uh, dismiss him and dismiss everything. This is the distraction on the Epstein files. And Trump should just follow. If he says that he's not guilty, prove it. Prove it that you're not guilty. And if the evidence is so overwhelming, well, that's just too bad. Anyway, this is on the economic shutdown. It's supposed to happen today. The economic strike is supposed to happen today. That's a little difficult because, it's a great idea, but it's kind of difficult because people are buying different things at different times. They have to do emergency purchases, like for medicines. Your kid's getting sick, the flu and the measles are going around. You're trying to keep your kids comfortable. Hospitals are buying things all the time to keep their supplies up and everything. So instead of a economic strike, it should be just a no work strike, except the first responders. Okay, we need the first responders around, the police, the medical, ambulance, fire, police and fire and medical. We need those guys. Okay, they need to keep going. But everybody else could do a general strike. Okay, this happened years ago. I've forgotten what year this happened, but this happened in Greenland. The territory of Denmark, Greenland. I would have to do more research on that. There was a similar situation. There were men in parliament over in Greenland that were causing a lot of problems. Okay, they were being very chauvinistic toward the women and everything else. Well, in Greenland, there's more women than men. Okay, the old adage that women live longer than men. Because men sometimes do dumb things and they don't think things through. Whereas us women, we think things through, right? Oh, sure, there's some that are not very well informed, but hey, that's not their fault. They could go and, be encouraged to do research, right? So, anyway, in Greenland, the women finally had enough of being kind of treated like second class citizens. Guess what they did? They went on strike. They not only went on strike at home, they went on strike at work. And I mean, it was the whole country, all the women in the country. And you know what happened? The men in the parliament and the prime minister, everything else, they didn't know what to do. They were cornered. The women said, you know what's going to happen? We'll hold a snapshot election and we'll start replacing you. Since you're not listening to us women, what we're trying to tell you. And guess what? The women took over Greenland. There were women prime ministers. There were those that worked in government that enjoyed doing public service. They know what public service means, okay? Not very many of the men don't, unless they were raised by their families on public service and stressing the importance of public service. There's some families like the Kennedys that stress and teach public service and encourage it, okay? They don't do any corruption stuff or anything else. The only person that seemed to be outside of that is our RFK. He's not very smart, okay? And many of his cousins look at him cross-eyed. Anyway, that's what happened in Greenland. Now, there's some men that work in the public service and they learn their lesson. Okay? So I think we should take a lesson, take a page out of their playbook. Women like you and me, all over this country, push back. Do a strike. And give the men in Congress the boot. And the president the boot. The so-called president. Trump is not my president. He never has been. He needs to be fired. He needs to be given the boot. Stephen Miller needs to be in jail. Noam and Bondi need to be in jail because they broke federal laws. And they broke the constitutional laws that they were supposed to protect and they didn't. Okay? They didn't do their jobs properly. And, you know, and Trump saying they're deporting U.S. citizens. I'm sorry, or let's put it this way, that's not supposed to be happening. Trump, you cannot deport U.S. citizens. You know what should happen to you, Trump? You're the one that should be deported. Okay? I think from what I understand, your great-grandfather that came over here to avoid, he came to America to avoid um, being in the German army. Because when you turn, what they say, turn 18, yeah, 16 or 18, you're supposed to be in the German army, and you're supposed to serve like 2 years or something like that, or 2 or 4 years or something along the lines in German federal law. They do that to keep their readiness. Okay. Well, it's the same way in the Swiss Army. You have to serve in the armed forces for 2 or 4 years, which every country does this differently. Now, over here, it's voluntary. If you want to go in the army or go in the navy or whatever, majority of the kids do, because they could get better training. They get free college education if they're in the armed forces. I just had a cousin that went into the Air Force, second cousin, and so she's getting her education through it that way. Okay. So it doesn't hurt to serve if you can. If you're healthy enough, strong enough, and everything else, that you can. Okay. Not all of us are born perfect. Some of us are born with undiagnosed um, problems that haven't been caught. And then there are those that they catch the problem and they're trying to correct it. Now, the one thing that really kind of bugs me, why as a human race are we allowing ourselves to allow these things to happen? Why do we do this to ourselves? You know, that's something to think about. So, you know, that's why I think us women need to push back. Now, if the men want to join in with us, that's great. There are some men that are not chauvinistic. There are men that encourage, women to be equal. They want to treat them as equals because they're finding out when you treat a woman as an equal, you get things done better and faster. Now, my dad was ahead of his time. He believed that Karen and I should work, establish a career, and get married if we want to, and, just try and be happy. And, because he knew things were changing. He sees things that were changing. See, back in those that do remember, back in the 1970s, women were not allowed to have their own bank account. They were not allowed to have a car or buy a car or buy a house or whatever. Well, you know what some of the women did? Some of them had their own women-owned banks, and they helped women, start a business, buy a car, buy a house, do it out of their own money, okay? I was required to, when I got my first car, I was required to have my dad sign on for me to get my car. I had enough money put back, but they said, well, you don't have a checking account or anything else. I go, I do now. You mean you have a checking account now? Yeah. And so it's like, you run into some men that are very chauvinistic about this. And so when the law was passed that um, that allowed women equal footing, that really helped out a lot. Okay. So I don't know what some of the men, I'm not saying all of them, some of them, those that we know that are chauvinistic or misogynistic or whatever, uh, what they're afraid of. And so, uh, boy, the thing's late. Hey, have you guys noticed your notifications coming in super late? Mine have. For some reason, they're slow getting in here. And sometimes I don't get notifications until next week. Or not next week, but the next day. So anyway, let me check my calendar. But anyway, we need to push back on this. Okay. I didn't buy anything today. I can't purchase groceries or anything yet until my stipends come in. Um, so let's see. Let me check my calendar. Calendar, where are you, calendar? There we are. Let me check February. Okay, I will see you on the 3rd, or not on the 3rd, I will see you on Monday, February 2nd. This is the second to last day of January. On February 2nd at 1 o'clock, as always. I will see you then on Monday, which is February 2nd. And then, let's see. I'll still do my chat on Wednesday because I have an early morning treatment on my hand. By the way, this is getting better. It's breaking down the scar tissue on this. It's breaking it down. And it's moving much, much better. It's not hurting as much. And at first it was hurting because it was being trained. But this is getting better and this is helping. Scar tissue is not fun. On Friday, I will be doing my chat show. If it runs over, I will post something on my Facebook page. If I'm over the occupational, send a message going to say, hey, this is going to be a little later. But I'll keep you guys posted on that. I'm working on trying to get myself put back together. Physically pushed back together. So, have a good week. And Super Bowl is next week. So, yep. Super Bowl is on the 8th. So this is Super Bowl week all this week. And then they will have the national honors and then the Pro Bowl. And, oh, another thing too. I hope that our Seattle Kraken player is going to be okay. He had a freak accident when he was playing. When he slipped, he slammed his head right into the hip of the opposing player. They hope it's not a concussion. Bone on bone type thing. I would imagine the other guy's sore too, because, unless you got thigh pads or something like that. But, I hope nothing's broken. So, I hope he's going to be okay. But they did beat the Kraken did beat the Seattle or the let me try again. The Seattle Kraken did beat the Toronto Maple Leafs. Did beat them. So 4-1. So anyway, I will see you guys later. See you on Monday. Take care. Stay safe. Be sure to insist, persist, and push back. Think a number of ways, okay? And we need to push on Congress. We need to focus on that. Tell them, impeach now. Impeach. They were focusing on no. Well, you need to focus on everybody. You need to start at the top. And once you get rid of all those are connected in the administration impeached, the president impeached, everybody goes. According to uh, Article 2, Section 4 in the Constitution. Once the president's impeached, everybody's out. Once that happens, then we need to set up a snap election to get a new president in place, a new administration, and get everything back the way it should be. It's been working great. Okay? None of this crap that Trump is doing. Okay? Alright, I will see you on Monday. Take care. Have a wonderful weekend. I love you all, and thank you for watching. And I'll post this on my YouTube channel. Okay? Love to all. Bye-bye.